More game to go, but let's look back on last night's dramatic rematch. No Lamar Jackson, it's Tyler Huntley for the Ravens against Joe Burrow's Bengals. Huntley played well, tied up in the fourth quarter with a chance to go ahead. He got them to the goal line, but the play set up for him to go over the top. Logan Wilson bats it away in the hands of defensive end Sam Hubbard. The kid from Cincinnati in front of his hometown takes it 98 yards. And a final chance for the Ravens. They had a shot. The Bengals hold on for the 24-17 win.
50-60% Lamar Jackson. I just don't think he really was healthy enough to really go out there. I think, he kind of made that clear with the tweet he said. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of speculation with him not having a contract, this, that, and the third. But, I don't even know if I should say this, but he's like limping around the facility. That's kind of the crazy thing that people don't see, obviously. So, obviously, we knew he wasn't going to be able to be out there with us, but hopefully we sign him to a big-term deal, and he's a Raven with me forever.
A lot we don't see. Jackson posted this on his Instagram story yesterday. This is a quote from someone else, but he posted, "When you have something good, you don't play with it. You don't take chances losing it. You don't neglect it. When you have something good, you pour into it, you appreciate it, because when you take care of something good, that good thing can take care of you too."
Wow.
So yesterday, Lamar Jackson,
wow,
he missed his sixth game.
Sure what to do with that.
Guys, the bigger story was that he didn't make the trip to Cincinnati.
Right.
Robert, you were his teammate. You've played for this franchise. You know them well. You know him well. What insight can you share?
Yeah, well, what I can say is that I talked to people in the building today, and this relationship is salvageable. The reason Lamar Jackson didn't travel to the football game was because he was sick. They diagnosed him, said that he was sick. He didn't go on the trip. Now, he has traveled at other times this year to away games, but he's also stayed behind at times so that he can get extra rehab in. So this narrative about Lamar Jackson that people are weaponizing, saying he didn't go out there on the field because he wasn't wanting to put on the line for his teammates, or he wants a new contract, I just feel like that's wrong.
Well, what about this comment that you just tweet? I mean, how do you make of that then?
Yeah, I mean, what's
he saying?
What Lamar? I can't speak for Lamar Jackson, but what I can say,
he can speak for himself. He says you don't appreciate me.
But I don't think that's what he's saying. What he's saying is, listen, he's not healthy. That's the bottom line. You just listened to Marlon Humphrey talk about how Lamar's limping around the facility. He's not healthy enough to go play. So people weaponizing that and trying to make it about something else, I just feel is wrong.
Well, it can be that he's not healthy. And it could also be that there's a feeling amongst people across the league, which there is, that he's boycotting them. There is that feeling that's out there, whether it's right or wrong. And he can be hurt, and they can believe that there are other motives. Both can be right. He's posting messages like that.
Yes, they both can't be right.
They can't both be right. Why not?
They can't both be right. Listen, if Lamar had a contract, would anybody be up here saying he's boycotting and not playing?
Well,
no, they would say he's hurt.
Correct.
And he's not playing the football game. Lamar Jackson has a grade 2 PCL.
Why is everything about Lamar that's coming from Lamar is saying I'm not happy? I'm being neglected.
That's saying I'm not healthy.
I'm being neglected.
He's saying that I'm not healthy.
He's saying I'm not.
And that message
he's saying
right there,
I'm being neglected.
What I see is
and you should appreciate me. And if you don't,
I
might not be able to help.
Listen, guys, I've got the personal experience of playing with no ACL and no LCL. I went out there, put it on the line for my brothers and the team. No one was there to tell me, hey, you can't do this. It's not confusing that. He's hurt.
We believe that he's hurt.
Yes.
Why is he adding fuel to the fire? We understand he's hurt. We stipulate to that fact.
He's adding fuel
to the fire.
Why
is he adding to the fire?
Go ahead, Boog.
That's your point. He's hurt. Nobody's disputing the fact that he's hurt. The problem is when you put that message out there that basically says, I'm not appreciated. Now, the underlying factor is the contract. Okay, we all know he wants to be paid. We all know, to your point, if he had a contract, maybe he would try to play. We all know that. I've never seen a franchise and a franchise quarterback that wanted to be together treat each other the way that these two are treating each other. And I think that's the biggest issue. You have a Ravens franchise that's kind of saying passive-aggressive things. You have a quarterback that's tweeting passive-aggressive things. And we're left to decipher the difference. And I know you talk to people in the building, but for people like us who don't talk to him, it looks as if the franchise doesn't want him, and he's looking at that saying, you know what, if you don't want me, I don't want to be there either. That's the way we perceive it on the outside.
I can understand that part of it, Booger, but having talked to Lamar and people inside the organization, what I'm saying is that the relationship is salvageable. That's
it's salvageable to me if look, this is the best thing that Ravens have ever happened to them is Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
And if they want it to be salvageable, then why we say Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, even Justin Herbert, we don't say Lamar. Well, we should say Lamar. In fact, I believe that Lamar can be the best of all of them, but he needs to be developed to be that person and run an offense that he can. Look, they want the most sophisticated. I feel like a broken record, but most sophisticated running game in history. They run it. It's amazing, unbelievable coaching. But how about leaning in the AFC? As I said many times, you win a Super Bowl. Let's develop Lamar Jackson. I think that tweet tells me I want to be Joe. I want to be in that mix. I want to be that guy, and I want the receivers. I want the coaching. I want the push to go be that person.
Steve, I think everybody can take what they want out of the message, and that's part of sending out tweets and letting it be interpreted by everyone. But to me, the bottom line is Lamar Jackson wasn't healthy. That message to me says,
that I agree.
Hey,
we get that.
So listen, we have a responsibility not just to the players and to our network, but to the fans out there watching, not to weaponize stories and make it seem like he's not playing the game because of a contract.
No, I didn't even say that. No one's saying that he missed the game because this is him on top of the injury. What is going on between him and the team? We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it sounds like we could all just use some more communication, which is good in any relationship. It's something that we can discuss in the offseason. The Bengals are still playing, and Adam, more injuries to the offensive line. They worked so hard last offseason to make this right, and then Burrow sacked 4 times, more time than in the whole 9-game winning streak in any game during that streak. Where do they stand?
Jonah Williams, their offensive tackle, dislocated his kneecap. He's week to week. Now, he suffered an injury like that earlier in the year. Came back and played the next week. The playoffs, you wonder if he can gut through it and be back out there. We'll see if he can, but that's something that he's going to try to get through to be out there this upcoming week against the Buffalo Bills.
Huge issue to me because Joe Burrow, of the 3 I just mentioned, of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, kind of lead the AFC. He's the one that wants to throw it more than anybody.
Yes.
And and sometimes I feel like he feels ashamed to go run it. He doesn't want to go and get in his legs. And I think you saw against the Chiefs early this year, it was a big deal for him to get moving and get those extra yards. I think with this offensive line problem, they got to go to Buffalo. Joe Burrow's got to get on his horse, get those free yards, first downs, touchdowns like he did against the Chiefs.
Well, and they're going to have to run the football a little bit more. Let's not forget about Joe Mixon. The offensive line is in shambles, and it showed last night. There was a ton of pressure from the Ravens, 4 sacks. He was under a ton of pressure. Can they run the football on the road? That'll help him out.
Yeah, they got to get on the phone with Big Wit. Andrew Whitworth.
He's not coming out
there. We're trying to sell him.
Come on, Big Wit. We need
Let's
you.
golfing,
the
bro.
Bengals need you, brother.
Let's golfing right now.
Spotlight shines the hottest.
Well, on Tom Brady, of course, because he's done this so much. And I remember towards the end of my career, he was like, in the summertime, he's like, I'm going to go back, but why am I going back? I'm going back for the playoffs. Yeah. I'm going back for the Super Bowl. So at great cost, Tom has decided to come back another year. What is that cost? If you think about it, it's about playoffs, and it has to happen tonight. If he's going to make it all worthwhile, this is why he came back, is these kind of games.
Yeah, but Steve, what about Dak? This opportunity for Dak to ascend up the quarterback ranks by beating the greatest quarterback of all time, he can really take himself, guys, from going on the Tony Romo track of being a great quarterback and moving himself to the
That's what the playoffs can do.
The Troy Aikman track of bringing the Super Bowl back to Big D. I don't think there's ever been a game where everybody can sit here and say they wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys won or if they lost. If they win, everyone will say they have the better roster. If they lose, they'll say it's the same old Cowboys.
Yeah, and speaking of losing, I think there are a couple of things on the line tonight. If you're Mike McCarthy, you know how bad Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl. You couple that with the fact that they lost to the 49ers last year at home in the first round of the playoffs. Jerry has assembled one of the more talented teams in the National Football League. I'm not saying it should be that way, but if Mike McCarthy doesn't win this game tonight, he could be coaching for his job.
And so, Boog, to bridge what you said and what Steve said and what Robert said, the stakes tonight are huge.
Yes.
Because if the Dallas Cowboys don't win tonight, there are going to be a lot of questions about their direction going forward with their head coach. And if the Buccaneers lose, then people are going to wonder, was that the last game that the greatest player that we've ever seen, all due respect, Steve, has ever played, and will his career be over? So we're looking at somebody advancing to the divisional playoff in San Francisco and another franchise having major questions to answer.
Strangely, the most compelling team is the loser tonight in some ways, the way you're describing it.
So to that point, I would just say to everybody, if we have plenty of time to talk about Tom Brady's future and what's going to happen, soak it in, right? This is one of those moments. He's the greatest that ever played the game. We get to watch him live. Just soak it in. Appreciate the moment. And with that said, it's a big game. That means big coverage. Ed Werder has been covering the Cowboys all season. Lisa Salters will be on the sideline tonight. So let's start there. And Lisa, it sounds like things are trending in the right direction for the Bucs.
Yes, Susie. Well, the Bucs may be home underdogs tonight, but they are feeling supremely confident because for the first time in a long time, all of their offense is healthy. The last time that we had the Bucs on Monday Night Football in early December, Julio Jones was just coming back from a knee injury and just getting his confidence back. Jones said he feels much better now. Leonard Fournette revealed on social media 3 weeks ago that he's been dealing with a Lisfranc injury in his foot for most of the season. Well, now it's time for playoff Lenny, who told me I'm 100%, timing is everything. And just this morning, big for Tom Brady, Pro Bowl center Ryan Jensen, who's been on IR since September 1st with a knee injury, was activated, so he's very likely returning tonight with his status to be official in about 40 minutes. So you just get the sense that the Bucs are quietly smiling about getting everyone healthy for this postseason. Tom Brady said, when we put our best out there, I like us against anybody. As for Brady's future, Susie, it came up when we talked to him on Saturday, and he said he just wants to get through this season before making any decisions. He said it's been a tough year for him emotionally, that there's a lot to consider, so he's going to take it day by day until he feels 100% certain about what he wants to do. I am 100% certain that Ed Werder has some insight on the Cowboys tonight. Ed?
Well, yeah, Lisa, nothing quiet about the Cowboys. Tonight's playoff game, widely perceived to be a referendum on Coach Mike McCarthy and quarterback Dak Prescott, both of whom failed their 12-win team when they were eliminated at this same point a year ago. If jobs are not necessarily at stake, reputations certainly are. There could be no more excuses for one, no more interceptions for the other. McCarthy prioritizing ball security, explosive plays, and creating offensive rhythm immediately for his quarterback. Don't be greedy and take what the defense gives us, is what Prescott said. He tied for the NFL lead in interceptions, a career-high 15. Still, the Cowboys ranked second in the NFL in turnover margin. That's because Dan Quinn's defense has led the NFL in takeaways in consecutive seasons. The first team since the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers. They need to create those tonight against Tom Brady. Provide Prescott short field scoring opportunities. You know, Micah Parsons sacked Brady twice in week one. Well, Quinn will be using Parsons as both an edge rusher and an off-the-ball linebacker. That's part of Quinn's plan tonight, to make Brady hesitate, perhaps create that extra second that the pass rush lead needs. And then finally, Susie, Dan Quinn's going to assign Trayvon Diggs to shadow Mike Evans. Diggs is the NFL 2021 interception leader. Cowboys want Brady to be assuming risk with the ball to get it to his best receiver. But of course, Brady has 4 healthy receivers. Cowboys only have 2 corners that they trust.
So many great